My name is Carol Boss. This is Freeform, and there's a concert happening both tonight and tomorrow evening featuring Scott Mulvahill, and I hadn't heard too much of his music until I went online, and both of them, by the way, are being presented by AMP Concerts. And tonight, this concert I will give more details in a little bit, it is at the Cooperage, and tomorrow night in Santa Fe at Gig. And it's really wonderful that they're sharing an artist, and people from both towns are going to get to hear Scott. Anyway, I checked him out online, and I was listening to so many songs. Scott, you're just amazing. He's brought in his bass, so this is the second bass we have this afternoon. I had a jazz bassist on.
I saw him walking out of the building. And
saying, what is this? Who's this bass? And I said, hardly ever do we have a bass in here, upright bass.
2 for 1.
And it's really cool, 2 in 1 afternoon. And he played for so many years with Ricky Skaggs' band.
Mm-hmm.
That was really a big break for you, wasn't it?
It really was.
Do I have the right mic up here? Here we go. Go ahead.
How's that? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
that's much better.
Yeah, it was absolutely life changing actually, because I had moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where I still live, and you know I was playing gigs here and there with different bands or doing some touring with some great artists, but nothing super consistent. And to get to you know have a job in music, but also a job that with somebody who is so has so much history in American music, and he's one of the torchbearers of bluegrass music. I get to learn so much from him over the 5 years I was in his band.
When did those 5 years come to an end?
Actually at the end of 2017. So it was like 2012 to 2017 I was with him.
I don't turn on the TV that much, but I don't know if it was a month or two ago. I turned on, there's this big Ricky Skaggs thing. It looked like there were 10 million people in the audience going wild.
You know what? I bet that was the CMA Awards. He had a performance as on the CMAs, and they really paid a tribute to his whole career and his whole...
Yeah, that might have been it, but it was really quite phenomenal.
No, I think it must have been, and what I loved about that was he was playing different formats because his roots are in bluegrass, and he also had a tremendous country career, and so he was running between stages. They had a couple different stages, so he'd play a bluegrass tune, then he'd run to the other stage and play a country song with this other band. And so like watching him, I love him so much. It looked like he was like a cartoon character running between the different stages. It was awesome.
You started as a guitar player, is that right?
Well, bass guitar.
Bass guitar.
Yeah.
So what drew you to the upright?
It was some combination of just kind of getting. It was like kind of a natural progression because I was getting more and more into the bass guitar and my heroes on that instrument, and I had a great teacher in the Houston area where I grew up, and he just encouraged me, saying basically, if you want to go study this in school or have a career in this, you should learn the upright too, because it's just a skill set you're going to need, and that's, I didn't know how much I would really love it and find my voice on the upright. It was kind of started as like you know, okay, I should probably try that as well, but then it's really become what I do most.
Yeah, to go from a high-energy band like Ricky Skaggs and to, maybe it wasn't direct, but to come to the bass and your voice. It's not that you don't sing with other people, because I saw some wonderful twosomes online.
Yeah.
I saw some really great videos, but it seems to me to be a really intimate relationship.
Well, that's the core of my music, is that relationship between me and the bass, and I treat it, even though obviously I'm doing it all, it's like I treat it like 2 voices, or even 3 to 4 voices, because what I do on the instrument is generally includes like a bass line and some kind of counterpoint line, and so there might be 2 musical voices on the bass, and then sometimes I'll add in a percussive element, and so it really is this conversation between what I'm doing on the instrument and my voice. And I think especially on the solo songs, I try to give the illusion of a full ensemble with just myself. You know,
it's really wonderful. Why don't you play a song for us so people
Yeah,
can see what
yeah,
we're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about here?
This is the first song on my album. This is called Begin Againers.
Oh yeah, let's just say that you're on tour right now for your brand new album.
Yes.
Himalaya.
Himalayas is the album, yeah.
Himalayas.
And we can play that song later in the show, I guess. But this is actually the tune that opens up the record, and I always love playing this one, Begin Againers. Nothing like a blank page. You get to start from scratch. It could be anything, man. There's no catch. It's a good place for a dreamer. A good place for a dreamer to dream away. Nothing like a clean slate. You get another shot. To do things like you meant to the first time you picked up the chalk. It's a good day for a sinner. A good day for a sinner. So why wait? Over a clean slate. Sometimes I get caught up where I never meant to be. It's the curse of being free. The curse of being free. But baby, it's a good day for the travelers and the sinners. All the would-be winners. The everyday begin againers. Begin againers. There's nothing like a full tank in an open road. Every destination is between somewhere and somewhere else in this great nation, and it's your world. It's a good thing for a traveler, a good thing for a traveler, like cash in the bank. The full tank. Sometimes I get caught up where I never meant to be. It's the curse of being free. The curse of being free. But baby, it's a good day for the travelers and the sinners. All the would-be winners. The everyday begin againers.
Oh wow, Scott Mulvahill playing a tune from his new album Himalaya. I know you must like collaborating because you collaborate with lots of artists, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I bet you don't feel lonely when you're up there on your stage with.
Well, what I find is some songs just lend themselves to a solo thing. Some lend themselves to a whole band and you know, production, and it's one thing. I think that's something that I enjoy actually about arranging tunes and you know, and even coming up with an album. It's like I'm not only gonna give you one of those flavors because it's a texture thing. Like you want some dynamics in the texture, and that's gonna you change it to keep it interesting for the listener and for myself, and yeah. So, but no, it's I mean that's the whole game for me. It's like not feeling lonely with just this instrument, and yeah. Hopefully the audience doesn't feel lonely, you know.
We've had some great things happening. I was so excited to hear you were on the Tiny Desk concert. By the way, welcome to our Medium Desk concert.
Your desk is larger than the Tiny Desk. That's
yeah,
for
this
sure.
is a large desk concert.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tremendous. I had met Bob Boylan from NPR a few years ago, and through the Tiny Desk contest, which is something they do every year, people submit videos. And,
so did you submit?
So I submitted, and I never was selected through the contest, but they just liked what I did enough. They invited me to play a live thing in Nashville. They'll tour that little, or I guess it's hard to even describe, I guess, but they do a tour featuring the winner of the Tiny Desk contest and some local people in each city. So when they were in Nashville, they asked me to be a part of it, and so I was just chatting with Bob at that event, and he's like, "Man, come do one. You know, we just love what you do," and that meant a lot. And you know, and that was 3 years ago, I think. So you know, all those things come to fruition a little later. It took a little time. But, yeah.
Well, I'm excited because you're the first Tiny Desk concert person that I've ever talked to.
Oh,
I think I don't know.
Well,
Neil Copperman, who's Amp Music. You must have had other performers here.
We've had others, but I don't know if they've been on your show.
No, probably not. I would have known that. But anyway, that's really great. And you did the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes, yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was only about a month ago.
So was that a real dream for you, or something?
It was, absolutely. And being a part of Ricky Skaggs' band, I had played there. I played on that stage, had to be over 100 times.
Oh,
you know,
really?
I've been there many times as a side guy, but it's definitely a different experience to stand in the circle on the middle of the stage and do my own music. And in fact, it was a beautiful experience because Ricky, my old boss, got to host that night, and so he was hosting the show when I was playing. So he kind of introduced me, and you know, it was definitely this family atmosphere, and even down to all the staff at the Opry were just, these are people that I've, you know, seen and recognized and been in that space with for 5 years. So it's like when I was coming to do my debut, so many of them were like, "Scott, we're so proud of you," you know, like, and so I kind of got this almost like special treatment just by knowing everybody for that long. You know, it's like they really made me feel special and like a family member. So
my old boss, Ricky Skaggs, was he a good boss?
Amazing, yes, in every way. Yeah, man, he's truly a mentor to me. Mm-hmm. You know, and so many of us that come through his band. In fact, on the Opry stage when he was introducing me, he said something to the effect of, you know, "This is like introducing my son." You know, this is like,
oh, that's sweet. Yeah,
he thinks of all of us as his kids, because there's a bunch of us in the band around my age, and so he's kind of the ringleader and has his like, you know, proteges around him, and that's how he looks at it. It's a beautiful thing. So,
yeah, that's great. This is Scott Mulvahill, and that's spelled Mulvahill. He is performing this evening at the Cooperage. It starts at 7:30, and the Cooperage, a lot of you know, but in case you don't, it's just north of Louisiana on Lomas, 7220 Lomas Boulevard Northeast. And tomorrow evening, at, at the Gig, 1808 2nd Street, Suite H in Santa Fe. And folks can order tickets. Is it too late to order tickets today? Do they just show up at the door?
Nope,
Neil?
you can still buy tickets online, all the way up to the last minute.
Hold my ticket?
Yep, or ampconcerts.org.
Okay, ampconcerts.org, or hold my tickets at 505-886-1251. Okay, what would you like to play now?
Yeah, I'll play. Let me tune up here. We were talking about kind of the approach, writing songs for the bass, you know, and how that works as a solo thing. So I'll play you this. It's actually the first song that I ever wrote on this instrument, because I was like we said earlier, I was a bass guitar player, and then I got into upright, but I also got into singing and songwriting separately, really, and then I didn't put the two together until really just a few years ago, maybe about 4 years ago. Was when I very first started doing that, and so this song actually was kind of my first attempt, and it was the seed of this album. It's called "Fighting for the Wrong Side."
I've been naive and foolish. My eyes only seen what they wish denied. The crimes in front of me. I gave you all of my trust. Blind faith kept me in the fight for us. The cause was lost, and I should have seen. Baby, I've been wrong before. The battles we fought, I thought it was only war. Smoke rolls back, I lift my eyes. All this time I was fighting for the wrong side. Fighting for the wrong side. I marched like a toy soldier, obeyed every last order to keep the peace, so I believe. Now you treat me like a stranger, walked out of my life and changed my world today. You made me your enemy. Baby, I've been wrong before. The battles we fought, I thought it was only war. Smoke rolls back, I lift my eyes. All this time I was fighting for the wrong side. Oh, fighting for the wrong side. I tell you what my heart breaks for. Wasted love that I'll see no more. Smoke rolls back, I lift my eyes. All this time I was fighting, fighting, fighting for the wrong side. Fighting for the wrong side.
Oh, that is so nice. So this is the first song written for bass that you, and that must have inspired you to just keep on going.
Well, you know, it's a funny story. When I was first coming up with that concept, it was it kind of came out of my years with Ricky for this reason. We were on tour with Bruce Hornsby, and Ricky and Bruce had this crazy collaborative show that they still do from time to time. And I had showed, we were on this music cruise called Kayamo, and I had shown Bruce a few songs that I was writing at the time, kind of before all this. And I just asked him, like, do you mind if I pick your brain a little bit, talk about songwriting and artistry and all these things? And so he listened to a few things I was working on at the time, and he's like, man, there's nothing wrong with it. You sound fine, it's all fine, but it's just not interesting at all, you know? And so I was like, it's like, man, you're right, you know? And he was encouraging too. It was like, he's like, you just have all these musical tools you're not using, you know, and you just have to dig deeper and find something more interesting and unique and something that really only you can offer. And that conversation, it actually just led me to, like, what is the best thing that I could do? You know, what's my best instrument? What do I have that's the most compelling in my arsenal? And so I tried writing on this, and that was the first song that I had written. And I sent it to Bruce, and he called me later and was like, man, you did it, you know, like, you really did it. And so it was like, it was encouraging and kind of, you know, you have feedback from your own heart as far as, like, this feels like a direction, you know, and so I was receiving that internally, and then receiving it from other people like that I respect, and peers of mine in town. It's like, okay, people are responding to this in a way that nothing I had done before garnered a response, you know, so it was definitely encouraging.
Yeah, I would think so. It just gave you more to go on with.
Well, and the nice thing about the concept is that it's still so sparse and open for other elements to be added on top of that, or, you know, you could take that core sound of bass and a voice and take it so many directions, which I have all the plans in the world to do. So
I mentioned before we went on air that I was checking out some of your videos online, and I saw the one because well, let me just say, I heard you doing Diamonds
on the Soles of Her Shoes. Yes.
What you claimed, you said it. Is it still your most favorite song of all time?
It's pretty much up there. Yeah. Well, that's the Graceland album. Paul Simon's Graceland album is one of mine. I would say, if there's one favorite album, that's it. You know, and especially kind of when I discovered it when I was a teenager. It was like in my dad's CD collection. You know, and so it made me think in a whole different way, because the bass lines are so cool and so unique, and the whole musical mashup of, like, South African styles with Cajun music, and which I didn't understand at the time, you know, like, it was just this crazy sound to me. I was like, I never heard anything like it, and so yeah, that's high on the list of favorite songs, favorite albums.
I was wondering how you came upon it, because it came out when you were rather young, and like you said,
before I was born, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. That was in your father's collection. Wow! And the woman who sings that on the video with you, Alana Boudreau, it's a wonderful collaboration.
Oh, she's an amazing artist, and she has her own. Alana Boudreau is her name. Her own several great albums, and I've been honored to be a part of some of those, playing bass on some of her stuff as well.
So Himalayas is your first album?
It is my first album of this kind of concept. Yeah, so I had released something in, like, 2011 that none of you will ever hear. You know, and a couple, you know, a duo collaboration with another friend in Nashville, and a different EP. So I've made records in the past, but I kind of took a step back from all of it at some point to reassess and really find something that was me, you know, that was really me, and that'll still evolve. But I'm glad I was able to kind of say, you know what, all these things I've done in the past, it's not like I regret any of it, but it's just not, it doesn't land to me. And so what do I really have to offer? And that's what this album represents. In the first step of that, really. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
One other video, you played with Stephen Day, who I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
It was you both of you together were doing James Taylor's "How Sweet
Yeah.
It Is."
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so sweet. Trading off vocals, and he was guitar, right?
He's
And,
playing guitar. Yeah, he's a really great, talented guy.
So is he on tour? I saw his name on one of the tour dates.
He was on the first. So we're on the Himalayas tour because this is my album tour, and he was on the first leg of that, which was in January and February. We did about 14 shows together, something like that. So he's a good friend, and he actually just came out with some new music as well. So that's one thing I love about the community in Nashville. There's just so many talented, great people to write with, tour with, work with, and just be friends. You know, so it's yeah, I love Steven, and that was a fun little collaboration. I bet we'll do more in the future.
Yeah, it's lovely together. Both of you
Thank
have
you.
such beautiful voices.
Well, you know what's crazy is James Taylor actually found that video and
Oh, really?
And shared it on his page.
Did he say it's his favorite?
I'm
cover?
sure it's
That's
not
a-
his favorite. It can't be his favorite. But it's but you know, and this was on his on James Taylor's Facebook page, or something like that. But it just said, you know, here's a sweet cover of How Sweet It Is for Your Thursday, or something just lighthearted like that. But I about, you know, dropped dead when I saw that. Yeah, so it's wild with the internet, like what finds its way where, you know, like somebody posted this thing yesterday. Somebody found the song Himalayas from my Tiny Desk concert, and this guy lives in India, and he sent me a long message that said, it was so sweet. He's like, man, I'm a dancer, but I just kind of lost interest, but I heard your song and it made me want to dance again. And he sent me this
Wow.
video, and he's like doing this killer, like, I don't know if it's improvised or if it's, you know, something he worked up, or but, you know, like an interpretive kind of dance to Himalayas. So I'll take it. You know, you can't predict.
You know,
where
some
it's
of the
gonna go.
positives of social media where you get to hear
Yeah.
this feedback and you don't know who the heck you're reaching.
It's
You know?
true. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, and there surely that's the people you hear from. So surely there are people that you don't hear from, but it still meant something to you. You know. Yeah.
So if you're just joining us, this is Freeform. My name is Carol Boss, and this afternoon, Scott Mulvahill, Mulvahill, is joining us. He is performing this evening. Concerts is putting him on tonight in Santa Fe, and tonight in Albuquerque, and tomorrow night in Santa Fe. In fact, we're going to have a couple of tickets to give away.
Yes.
Just-
It could be you.
It could be you. One ticket for the Cooperage tonight, and one ticket for the gig, and maybe you'll have a friend who will want to come along. So anyway, Cooperage, 7220 Lomas Boulevard Northeast. It's 7:30 this evening. Doors open at 6 o'clock. And you can go to hold my ticket, 505-886-1251, to purchase tickets. And you can also go to ampconcerts.org. Tomorrow night at the gig in Santa Fe, and they are at same phone number, same website to get tickets, hold my ticket. And they're at 1808 2nd Street, Suite H in Santa Fe.
You know, and I'll say too, like one thing I love about live shows is like just being with all the people there. You know, so I kind of envision it as a communal kind of experience. You know, so it's like I love talking to people before and after shows, and kind of like I'm a pretty social creature if you couldn't tell. And so it's like I just like to involve the audience and talk to the audience even during the show. Like it's like I always try to have fun at the shows for everyone's sake. You know, it's like I think if you come, you'll enjoy yourself.
So Scott, I must actually play a couple of announcements, so let me do that. And then we'll go into the next song. You have time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, in the studio with me is Scott Mulvahill, and he's got his upright bass here, playing tonight at Cooperage. And got another song for us.
Sure do.
What is it?
Do you think we'll do one more, two more? What you?
Let's see when this one ends.
Yeah.
I gotta watch the time carefully.
Okay. Let me play you the title track then.
Himalayas.
Himalayas. Yeah. And this one kind of, you know, the whole album has like a theme of facing fears and kind of like finding yourself and becoming more. And so this song kind of summed up a lot of that for me, and I that's why it's the title track. Yeah, I've never actually been to the Himalayas, but someday. Here you go.
I have stood still for too long, made excuses, and looked on from the sidelines, getting too comfortable. I have waited in this place while the years fly in my face. I am ready to trade it all. I wanna go where I've never been. Gotta know what I've been missing. I wanna come back different. Home is wherever I wake up. Hollywood to the Himalayas. I gotta find out what I'm made of and go where I've never been. Go where I've never been. Oh, I have run out of meaning. I am starving for feeling. My hands are reaching as I finally dare to dream. And I've been put on this mission, giving myself to the vision. My heart's begging to break at the seams. I wanna go where I've never been. Gotta know what I've been missing. I wanna come back different. Home is wherever I wake up. Hollywood to the Himalayas. I gotta find out what I'm made of and go where I've never been. 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 I have stood still for too long. Stood still for too long. I have stood still for too long. I wanna go where I've never been. Gotta know what I've been missing. I wanna come back different. Oh, home is wherever I wake up. Hollywood to the Himalayas. I gotta find out what I'm made of and go where I've never been. 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 Oh.
Wow, that's a powerful song. Title
Thank
track
you.
from the new album, Himalayas.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's so great. So, are you solo with your bass all on the entire tour? Do you have some?
It depends on the
folks
show,
join in?
yeah. So, like the last run I did, we did about 10 days in kind of between Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, and up northeast to Massachusetts and New York, and so that show I brought a guitar player, and we kind of some songs. Even when I have a whole band, which I'll have some festival shows this summer and things where I get to bring everybody, and it's you know, so it kind of depends on the show and what the situation is. It's hard to get everybody out to, you know, the west side of the country, for instance, but I bring people when I can, and it's fun that way. But even when I do some songs just solo because it's kind of the sound, you know. Yeah, but this little weekend is just me.
Just you and your bass. Do you have a name for your bass?
You know, I was actually in Los Angeles recently, and I asked the crowd what I should name the bass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and somebody submitted a really great answer, which was Adeline. I kind of like it. So that's the running title. The great thing about a bass is I could name it something and, you know, call it something else later if I wanted. Its feelings won't be hurt.
That's right.
So for now it's Adeline. Yeah, until I come up with
that's a lovely name.
Yeah.
So you know what, Scott? We do have time for another tune.
For another song? Okay. I'll play a song that
As long as it's not 8 minutes or over.
it's not 8 minutes. No, it's not. This isn't the Grateful Dead version, but I'll play a song that I actually would have played in Albuquerque when I was on tour with an artist named Lauren Daigle. I was on her tour in the fall and spring, opening her shows, and so this one is actually I feel it's one of the tunes that a lot of people have resonated with on the album, and it's kind of led me to being on certain tours like Lauren's and another tour with an artist named Andrew Peterson, and this is one that's like really dear to my heart to play. It's called "The Lord Is Coming."
Like Daniel in the den, we're surrounded by these hungry lions, staring in the jaws of death. We reach for saving hands. No help will come from man. The Lord is coming. With the Red Sea closing in, there's no safety in their mighty oceans. Can you feel the driving wind? Behold the crashing waves. The sail's on his way. The Lord is coming. Coming, coming, hurry, hurry, bring us to the promised land. till you'll see tomorrow. The doors are open wide. Will you choose death or life? Come in, hurry, hurry, bring us to the promised land. Glory, glory, we reach for saving hands. No help will come from man. The Lord is coming. The Lord is coming. The Lord is coming.
Wow, Scott Mulvahill. A mini concert today, right in the studio. It's part of our a large desk concert series.
Yeah, you're medium to large.
Medium to large, depending on what we're comparing it to. Is the tiny desk concert room larger than this? It's got to be
The
larger.
room is larger, yeah, because it's like an office. It's
Yeah, it's Bob's
one
office.
thing. Yeah, it's actually like the whole NPR music office. So it's kind of an open. Like if you look down the room, there's like more desks and stuff. So one thing I was surprised about playing the tiny desk is that I figured like maybe it started at someone's desk, at Bob's desk, but they set up a set that that you could just easily, because they do a lot of those concerts, so they're doing them quite a few times a week, I think, but no, it is literally it's truly Bob's desk, because we went to lunch after taping it, and we came back to pack up our stuff, and Bob is sitting there with his laptop working. It's like, oh, we're really in your way, aren't we? And it's his desk, no doubt.
That's great. So Scott Mulvahill is going to be at the Cooperage, I'll say it one more time tonight, 7220 Lummis Boulevard Northeast. It starts at 7:30, doors open at 6, and you can go to Hold My Tickets, 505-886-1251, or you can go to ampconcerts.org. It's still time to get...
And I've got all those links on my website too, scottmulvahill.com, so there's...
Yeah, it's Mulvahill, Scott,
Yeah.
C-O-T-T. And then tomorrow night in Santa Fe at the gig, 1808 2nd Street, Suite H. It starts at 7 o'clock.